guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Beth, also known as Bemmy's Bookshelf, and today we have my February reading wrap up. I read 5 books in February, 3 physical books, an audiobook and 1 on my Kindle, so let's just get right to them. The first book I read was Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. This was my Bemmy's Book Club pick for January, but I actually only managed to finish it in February. I rated this one 2 stars, or maybe 2.5 stars, it'll be up here. I wasn't the biggest fan on this book because I was just bored. This is the second book to Legends and Lattes. It's actually a prequel about Viv's life before the events of Legends and Lattes. So Viv is an orc barbarian and she is a soldier in this war. And in Legends and Lattes, she goes to a cozy village, opens up a cafe, and things happen from there. She's injured, so she can no longer fight in this war, so instead she gets base in a fisherman's town just until she heals, and during that time she meets a friend who owns a bookshop, a very rundown bookshop, and she helps her get it back up together. So my favourite character in this book was definitely Satchel. If you know, you know. I can't say any more than that because that would be a huge spoiler, but Satchel was my favourite character. I did really love Fern and Viv's friendship. Fern is the owner of the bookshop, but the love interest in this just didn't interest me in the slightest. The love story in Legends and Lattes I preferred much more, and I think I don't usually like to compare books, but when it's a series you can't help but compare the books, and I rated Legends and Lattes 4.5 stars. This just did not hit the same mark at all. There was so many characters to remember, so many female characters to remember, might I add, so it was just a lot of names to remember when I wasn't enjoying the story and when I was bored of the story. I did post a more in-depth review of this on my TikTok, so if you do want to watch that, then it's over there. But yeah, not the biggest fan of this one, unfortunately. If Travis does write another book, I will definitely read it because I really do love the cozy fantasy aspect. But I think another reason I didn't enjoy this book as much was because I'm just not into high fantasy as much anymore. I'm much more a romantasy gal, and the romance wasn't hitting. The majority of the books in this video I actually read in a reading vlog, which is not up yet, but it will be up very soon, so you do want to watch that if you want my reactions and thoughts throughout the book, yeah. Then I read Every Breath by Nicholas Sparks. Again, this is part of that same video, and it was the cutest book I have ever read. It's about a mature couple, so not really in their 20s, 30s, younger, that I usually read about. This couple was in their mid to late 40s, and it's also a dual timeline. I think the other part of the timeline is set maybe when they're 60 odd, so it was just a really nice breath of fresh air to read about this book. At the beginning of this book, I was a bit blindsided because I thought it was a true story. Turns out it's not a true story. I don't know if it's meant to come across as a true story, but it's not, which is fine. So basically in this story, Nicholas Sparks is writing as though he has spoken to these characters in real life. So there's this letterbox, there's this mailbox in someone's front yard, and Nicholas Sparks opens the mailbox. It's a communal mailbox, so everybody can write letters and pop it in there for anybody to read. And he opens one, finds a letter from a man called True, and he was really interested in his story, so he got in touch with True, who lived in Africa, and decided to write his story. So that's where this book comes in place. So it's about a couple called True and Hope, and their lives were very interesting to read about. It read as a true story, and I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but the way Nicholas Sparks movies feel is the way this book feels. And I know, obviously, because it's a Nicholas Sparks movie and a Nicholas Sparks book, but think Safe Haven, The Notebook, The Best of Me, The Longest Ride. Like, you can tell without even knowing that they are Nicholas Sparks movies, and you can tell without knowing that this is a Nicholas Sparks book, if that makes any sense at all. Like, I can literally picture every single scene in my head for this book, and I would actually really love it to be turned into a movie or a series because it was just really sweet. And if you are a Nicholas Sparks fan and you haven't read this one yet, then I definitely recommend picking this one up. I gave this 4 stars. In that same video we read The Locked Door by Freida McFadden. This is my 5th Freida McFadden book I've read, I think. Housemaid, Housemaid's Secret, The Inmate, Co-Worker, The Locked Door. Yeah, this is the 5th book I've read by her, and I was really, really, really intrigued by this one. I also gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was brilliant. It's about a surgeon called Nora whose dad is a serial killer behind bars, obviously. He got locked up about 20 years ago, but he had a signature when unaliving people, and her patients in her surgery start getting killed the same way that her father killed his victims. So it's just a whodunit, basically, what's going on, who's doing this. There's so many twists and turns, as always with Freida McFadden books, and you genuinely won't be disappointed. If you don't like Freida McFadden, like, I read this in just under 2 days as well, which for a book, for me, is good. But when it's a Freida book, I read Freida books very, very, very fast. Definitely not my favourite of hers. My favourite was The Housemaid, and then I reckon it goes Housemaid's Secret, and then this one, and then The Inmate, and The Co-Worker, because I didn't really enjoy The Co-Worker very much. But if you haven't picked up this one, then I definitely think you should. Also, how cute are my pyjamas? I call these Georgia Harrison pyjamas because I don't know if you've watched the most recent Love Island All Stars, but she wore pyjamas like this almost every day, and so my mum got me them for my birthday. The Kindle book that I read this month was Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've been wanting to read this book for so long, and I count this as being on my TBR because I paid 99p for this last year. Like, it was not a Kindle Unlimited book. I paid for this book, so this is me checking off the book from my TBR. I really enjoyed it. It's a second chance romance, friends to lovers. It's kind of got everything you want in a sweet romance, but with Emily Henry books, it's not just romance. There's always deeper messages behind her stories. The blurb on the front says 2 exes, 1 pact. Could this holiday change everything? Happy Place is about 2 people in their 20s called Win and Harriet. Actually, they might be 30. I think they are 30. Anyway, they're called Win and Harriet, and they were friends through college, and then they start dating. They're in a really nice, healthy, long relationship, and all of a sudden they break up, and you're kind of wondering why. Like with all of these books, you're always wondering why. They go on an annual holiday with their other friends who are also in couples, but because they don't want to ruin the friendship and they're worried that they will ruin the friendship, they decide not to tell anyone that they've broken up. So it's also fake dating as well. I forgot about that. So yeah, they decide throughout the whole of the holiday that they are still pretending that they're together when in actual fact they hate each other, which is really good. The banter in this book was really fun as well. This is actually only my second Emily Henry book I've read. The first one was Me and You on Vacation, which I gave 4 stars. I gave this one 4.25 stars. But then saying that, I haven't really thought about it much, so I might change it to 4 stars. No, I think with me, ratings are all about how I felt in the moment. Who cares if I haven't thought about it since? I felt like this was a 2.4 star. A 4.25 star in the moment, so it's 4.25 star. I need to know which Emily Henry book to read next because I actually really like her writing. Final book I have for February is an audiobook called The Pram. Yeah, I gave this 1 star, not because it was bad, I just had no idea what was going on. It was only an hour long. It was one of the Amazon shorts in their horror story kind of collective. It's on Kindle Unlimited, but you can also get a free audiobook as well. So I listened to it on audiobook at work. I just had no idea what was going on. To be honest, I could not even tell you. Actually, I can't tell you what it's about. It's about a man and his wife, and the wife cannot have children, or their son passed away, or something along those lines. I wasn't really listening to it properly because I was working, so it was just on in the background. So when I say 1 star, like, that's not the fairest rating, so don't take that to heart. This man really wants a son, and so becomes obsessed with the fact that he wants a son and pushes this pram around. He uses this pram for his shopping, I think, one day, and then he starts pushing his pram around thinking there's a baby in it, or to be honest, I don't know. If that intrigues you at all for some reason, then yeah, give it a go, but otherwise I just wouldn't really recommend it. I mean, it's only an hour long. If you're trying to hit your reading goal, then you may as well. But apart from that, that wasn't my favourite. And also, I don't think horror audiobooks are for me. So I don't know why I decided to pick that one up. Those were all the books that I read in February. Only 5 this month, which is the least amount this year actually, but it's fine. I don't really care about how many books I read every month, just as long as I'm reading and I'm having a good time. That's one thing I want to focus on more this year, is DNFing books, reading more books that I enjoy, trying not to force myself to finish a book if I don't like it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm currently reading The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, which is my Bemmy's Book Club February pick. If you do want to join my book club, the links are down below. But apart from that, thank you for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!